Hi there, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Till now, we were talking about how to prevent COVID. But, doctor, suppose one of our children get COVID. What is a protocol then? What are the things we can do to help them and make sure that they get through this difficult period without the infection getting worse and without them feeling too bad through the process?
When kids get affected, so it will be just like any other flu or what we call a common cold. Now, there is whatever the early evidence we have, there is a slight difference between the way it affects adults as well as to the kids. It mainly affects the adults, it mainly affects the lungs, so they're going to have bad pneumonia, very stiff lungs and all those things. Whereas the same is not seen in pediatric age group. They are not suffering a very bad lung disease, probably because of so many theories. They don't have that ACE2 receptors, so it might not affect the lungs badly, or the comorbidities that is causing worsening of the diseases in adults is not so common in pediatric age group. There are so many theories why kids are not getting affected. We can say probably this is the only vaccine wherein it is given for the last time to the kids after completing all the adults. Otherwise, it's always the other way around, isn't it? So we keep vaccinating kids every month, every other month, once in 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, till they become 5 years. So many times we keep giving them vaccine. Whereas an adult, you can't recollect when is the last time you had a vaccine. So now it is totally the different scenario. So we do have complications which might happen after 3-4 weeks of an infection, not really immediately. Unless comorbidities, we don't expect kids to have a very bad disease. But yes, the way the kids react to it is going to have a major complication. All of you might have heard or read about MISC, what we call it as multi-system inflammatory syndrome in kids or pediatric age group. So it is like babies are going to react aggressively to the infection. So that's why they end up having the complication wherein their own immune system is going to hurt most of its body organs. So most related complication is involving the heart and rest of the organ systems. So again, to understand, it is one of the rarest. So as of now, probably can just to keep it in mind that there can be a complication following COVID infection, not necessarily along with the infection, probably after 2-3 weeks. So any child with the acute infection, if the infection is not settling in 3-4 days, the child is having high-grade fever, developing a lot of rashes on the body, especially the small BCG scar what we give, that is getting flared, the eyes are turning red, the neck is getting swollen up, the tongue is getting red, child is refusing to feed, vomiting repeatedly, having a lot of loose stools. Basically, the child is behaving very dull, not smiling or playful at all. So don't stay at home. So don't self-medicate. Time you should get evaluated. So 1 or 2 days of mild fever, don't get panic, don't rush to hospital, or don't do so many investigations on your own. So many times we keep seeing in the hospital, patients comes with so many reports which I would have never asked for a child of that small age. Or people keep asking, should we do CT scan? We are not proposing. They get like, I got infection, my wife got infection, and my physician told to get CT for both of us. And you are not asking for any X-ray or CT for the child. Yes, because it is not affecting kids like the way it is affecting the adults. So even we are learning every day how exactly it is different. Every day is a learning for us, especially with this particular pandemic. So don't self-medicate. And also, if there is an exposure of COVID at home, like some adult had 2-3 weeks back had COVID, or the child himself had a COVID, again after 2-3 weeks or a month later he develops a little bit of red eyes, again high-grade fever. So time to go to hospital. Okay. So again, this is a very small portion of the kids. We might end up having all these things, probably less than 1% of the kids, but you should be aware about it. And remember the warning symptoms, what we call when to rush to hospital. So every time baby sneezes or coughs or a little bit of fever, don't need to panic and no need to rush to hospital. And always don't hesitate to seek help. If you feel the child is not going good, don't stay at home. So just go to the primary caretaker. They are the right person to decide whether your child actually needs a testing or an admission, which is again a rare possibility, or any medications and all that. Don't do self-medication, don't do self-diagnosis. reach out to your pediatrician. So don't hesitate to get tested. Most of the times when I say like third day fever, fourth day fever, when I say like I think we should check, the immediate reaction of parents is, doctor, you want to check for the COVID? Yes, it is no harm. So we are just making sure that we are not missing on to the COVID. So it will make our line of management or thought process much clearer. So no harm in getting tested. Why are you so hesitant to test? So test. So if you test only, you can anticipate the complications. You can address it at an early stage rather than waiting for it to deteriorate further. Testing is going to cause no harm. It is all more of a fear. Just like when they do the stick, people are like it's going to hurt badly. Even for the vaccines, most of the mothers keep telling, oh, it's going to hurt. No, I mean, your baby has been taking it right from the birth so many times. You just try taking one of it. The treatment, one best thing I would say is like have a healthy food, healthy exercises, and proper water intake. Please don't self-medicate. Fearing that you are going to get some infection at some point, keep on taking so many medicines, be it homemade or Ayurvedic or allopathic or steroids. Please don't do that. So all these things, like I said, it will take months and years of experience to learn more and more. Each one of us are learning, isn't it? So none of us know exactly what works, what not works. What was recommended in first advisory committee was discarded in the second advisory committee that it is not effective. So like that, as and when we learn more and more, we understand more and more. Till then, unless it is recommended by a doctor, please don't try any self-medication. Like we know, so people, you keep hearing there is a big black market for remdesivir or steroid or tocilizumab. There are so many things. No, it is very important. It's not just the medicine, the timing of the medicine. So each one medicine has its own peculiar way of acting, and that time it will be effective. So obviously, the simplest of the medicines like paracetamol also, when it is administered, when it is not necessary, it's going to have its own side effects. So make sure you don't self-medicate. Each one medicine has its own way of acting. So leave it to your doctor. So we don't know what we are believing today is effective, might not be very effective in future. So according to the best available evidence as on date. So let it be decided by your treating physician.
Doctor, suppose a mom who is breastfeeding her baby gets COVID. What should be the protocol then? Should she continue to breastfeed the baby, or should we keep them apart for a few days until the mom is out of that infectious period?
And also, when you take the vaccine, please continue to feed. Don't stop feeding. But as if you are having a bad cough and all those things, I can still go for the express feeding. So express the milk, ask some healthy other attendant to feed through spoon or palade or whatever the way you are comfortable. So breast milk is never going to give an infection to the baby, except that it is going to give some kind of a protection, whatever the way best possible. So you can use mask always if you are a lactating mother and you are affected with the COVID. So cover yourself, use double mask, use a face shield whenever you are handling the baby, wear gloves, and make sure you are handling the baby and limit it only for the purpose of feeding. After that, you can hand over it to a better or a healthy adult to take care of it. So feeding is never going to cause problem to the baby. Feeding is going to only give a lot of benefit to the baby as well as to the mother, irrespective of whether you are having the infection or whether you are having the vaccination. Please don't stop feeding. Yeah, so feeding has a lot more role. Just don't stop feeding. So as far as lactating mothers, they keep asking, I'm going to plan for vaccination, should I stop feeding, is it going to cause? All these things are myth. No, you taking vaccine is not that the thing will go to the baby and cause harm to the baby. So please don't stop feeding. Even someone who is naturally infected also is not supposed to stop feeding unless you yourself are so sick that you are not able to feed the baby, or the treating physician says he's using some medicines for you which might not be very safe with the feeding. Only those situations you stop feeding. So technically feeding is always an yes, whether you are getting infection, whether you are getting vaccine. In all the scenarios, feeding is always a big yes. So feeding is going to prevent so many diseases, having so many advantages to the baby as well as mother. So don't ever think of stopping feeding on your own. just because you are infected or just because you are going to take vaccine, unless your attending physician says it is not safe. So please make sure you continue to feed. It's going to have a lot of benefit to you as well as your baby.
That brings us to the end of this series. Thank you, Dr. Prashant, for spending so much time with us explaining what we can do to make our children safe. As we sign off, Doctor, is there a special message you want to share with our audience?
Look at the larger picture. You should be more proactively involving in prevention, more proactively testing yourself, so that you want to isolate yourself, you don't want to spread it to others. As and when your turn comes, please don't hesitate to take the vaccine. So many things, so many lives are put at risk. Kids are suffering, adults are suffering, so many issues, isn't it? So all of us have to defeat this infection. So I don't agree that it is someone else's responsibility. Someone can, for that matter, a government or an authority can only treat you, but prevention of spread is in public hand, in our hand. So not any authority or any government will come and give me an infection. So it is the responsibility of that particular people or the government to take care of your medical thing, but not to prevent. Prevention is always in people's hand. So I can get infected from, not from any government or not from any BBMP or BDA. It's only from another person who is infected. So it is we who become sensible. Definitely we are going to break the chain. So it is all our responsibility. There is no doubt in that. So we might have disagreement on so many things, but it is the core responsibility of all of us to prevent this infection from spreading from person to person. That you can do it only by testing actively and isolating yourself and getting vaccine as and when your turn comes. So hopefully all of us will overcome this and will have a brighter future ahead. Thank you.